back again, and I think this is mine for today. So I think you cook the bean sprouts and the lettuce first. It may just be bean sprouts in one pile, adding all those different vegetables to that. Then you take the noodles and you soak those in water. And then you take those out and put them in a separate pile on the griddle and get those heated up and dried off. And once both of those have cooked quite well, you pick up the first pile and move it on top of the second pile. So what you need to find is that kind of sauce. Okonomiyaki sauce. So the epicenter was approximately directly over the Hiroshima hospital, and many of the photographs that we'll see apparently were taken from that same perspective. This is a 360-degree view in tile in this room of the devastation from the bomb. Now what's surprising is that so many buildings continue to exist. They would have been the cement, of course. But notice that there still are trees that existed. My guess is that it was not the fires, at least from the bomb, that was so destructive, as much as the blast, the percussion, leveling everything, and then the fires took place. But I don't really know. Are those crosses people who were buried at the time or shortly afterward? Graphs of some of the 140,000 estimated people who died either as a direct result of the bomb or by the end of that year, and presumed to have died because of the bomb. I've seen a number of walls covered with photographs in different countries. The last perhaps was in Cambodia, in Phnom Penh, a wall of victims of the Khmer Rouge. In Germany, in several places, and also in Poland, in Warsaw, in several places, in Prague, Czechoslovakia, in a park. We say in our religions that life is holy and precious. The only life that's holy and precious is our own. We're more than willing to give up all the rest, as long as it's safeguarded. We protect all the rest on the assumption that by doing so, we protect our own. The Ten Commandments was not written for your benefit. From my perspective, it's written for my benefit. The problem for mankind with these kind of deaths is that we have a consciousness, a self-awareness of our species and of our individuals' selves. And we realize that each of these human beings had a life that had aspirations and fears, happiness and unhappiness, the same as ours. And it's our fear of losing the continuation of all of that for ourselves that we lament all others who die, particularly unnecessarily, particularly young, and particularly with innocence. Impressive looking drum, very Chinese looking, including the turtle, which is, I think it's called the chi-chi, or something like that in Chinese. But you see that and it holds lots of the memorial tombstones, if you will. These are before the war bombing pictures. This deals with the Boxer Rebellion in China, and I think what it dealt with was the invasion of China by various nationalistic, imperialistic countries, including China and Japan. This probably epitomizes every important moment or unimportant moment in everyone's life. Here's the view from behind this building, looking at where now the Peace Park is, that whole triangle you see there. And it was along this area that I walked last night, and it was along that river on the left side that I walked last night until I intercepted a bridge about there and came back across. There's the metal structure we looked closely at yesterday that I think is a spiral staircase. There, it looks like there's some evidence of the stairs. And here yet another model of the destruction. It'd be interesting to see pictures of other cities that were merely firebombed. Apparently what it might have looked like before the bomb. Even the words that are used here do not do anything but treat the war, Japan's role, and the surrender with almost complete objectivity. What I meant was almost complete neutral. Even in this paragraph, which discusses the dropping of the two bombs until finally Japan decided to surrender. It does not do anything other than treat its surrender, its participation in the war in a nearly benign or totally abstract manner. Presumably the scarring on this cement surface is the result of flying glass at the time. This one of the recent letters sent to Obama as a letter of protest. They're sent to every nation that conducts a nuclear test. I'll read it. We have just learned that the U.S. conducted a new type of nuclear test again last November, following a similar test in September. These repeated tests compel us to believe the U.S. intends to maintain its nuclear stockpile indefinitely. Such actions are completely unacceptable, and on behalf of the A-bomb city of Hiroshima, I once again vehemently protest. I urge you to stop betraying our expectations. Please contemplate the agonizing experience of the survivors who witnessed the bombing. Understand their sincere wish for peace and strive for the earliest possible realization of a world free from nuclear weapons. This paragraph indicates that one of the things that the occupying forces did was suppress the press, particularly anything related to the A-bomb damage. Books had those portions excised, photos like that were excised. Same thing we did in the Vietnam War. This is a boat, a Japanese fishing boat, in which a man was ultimately died from the ashes from the Bikini Atoll USA bomb testing. So this is just a scale model of the dome as it remained after the bombing. Picture of a French nuclear test. This is a picture of a crater in Nevada. This is a picture of the hypocenter, in other words, right where it went off, just a little bit to the right of that Y there in the rivers, and down just a little bit where the intersection of those two streets are. And this is the picture afterward. Here you can see the outline of the portion that was directly burned by the bombs explosion, and the part that was covered by another tile. That's 4,000 degrees, or even 1,800 centigrade. Here it shows warped, riveted steel. I wonder if this bridge would have existed in 1944.